So welcome. We would like to talk today in the evening with you about psychological safety. My name is Tomek. I'm here with Daria. We are here from Grand Parade William Hill, and actually we are in the office here.
And we've selected the most safe room to actually give a public talk. So we're in one of the chill out rooms in the office, not widely used these days, but here we are.
Exactly. So look at our chill out room. This is a really nice place that we like to spend some time here. So we invite you here to talk about how to thrive at work in the times of global pandemic. Let's forget for now about pandemic and let's focus on the word before it. Some of you may have heard about VUCA term, VUCA word. It means volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And basically, this word means that we operate in such unpredictable environment, and people were trying to find a way how to be the most effective in that word. On the other hand, our company is the software company, and we operate in agile environment. And agile, when some of you may work in IT, agile means market dynamics. We know that the market is really dynamic. On the other hand, we know that the requirements sometimes are unknown. Clients just ask to deliver something, but they are actually not sure what to deliver. We solve complex problems with our algorithms, and when client asks about estimation, we give them something, some ambiguous estimation. So it is what it is in IT, agile conditions. And for me, this is just for sake of this presentation, I called it MUCA, so market, unknown, complex, and ambiguous. And when we compare those two words together, we have VUCA and MUCA, and actually it means pretty much the same, it's just IT related. And we try to operate in this complex environment. Of course, we survived and we are surviving. We managed to do it, but surviving is not the goal. The goal is to thrive. So how to do it? Today, I will give you some theory model to get to know and maybe think about how to thrive. And Daria will present you examples and the real lessons learned we got from our work here. You've probably heard that in order to be successful, in order to have fulfillment at work, you need to leave your comfort zone. And that's kind of true, that was kind of true. However, the question is, what does the comfort? What does comfort means? And I would like to talk a little bit about this model from Siegel and Bryson. And actually, those guys developed the model based on the childhood and child development, but I think that it can be applied also to organizations. So they defined three areas, three zones, and I'm sure that you've heard about those three. Is not exactly in this model, but we are using these terms a lot. So red zone, green zone, and the blue zone. And the red zone is basically fight or flight zone. The blue one is freeze. So this is our reaction of our nervous system. And the green one is comfort. So when you have the trigger of some situation and you are nervous, your sympathetic nervous system is activated, and you either fight with other person or animal or the situation, circumstances, or flight, so you are going away. On the other hand, when you see some trigger which triggers parasympathetic nervous system, you can freeze and just avoid the situation, pretend that this is not going to happen. You are freezing, right? And the ideal state is in the green zone, when you are in control, you are you know your reactions, you can predict your reactions, and that's the ideal zone. So in those three zones, where is this comfort zone? And if someone tells you to get out of comfort zone, what does it mean to go to the red zone or the blue zone? It doesn't look like it makes sense, right? But still there, we talk about leaving our comfort zone. So there is one more model, actually the extension of this model, developed by Agnieszka Stein and Gosia Stańczyk from Poland. And what they did, they basically divided in this green zone, this comfort zone, for two subzones. The yellow one, which means comfort, like a pure comfort, like either sleep or eat or rest. Those three. And obviously, if you sleep or eat or rest, you can't develop your skills, you can't have challenging situations. But this green zone and this model means that you are still in comfort, you feel comfortable, but you are in action also. So you have the challenge that it's challenging you, but this challenge is in your range of skills that you can handle. And that's where we wanted to be, to develop our skills in the teams. When we have, for example, software development teams, we would like to have people not in the red zone to fight or flight with each other, not in the blue zone to freeze. We don't want them to just purely sit down and rest because we are at work in the companies. So we would like to make sure that the teams and the people from the team are in this green zone, when they can learn, be challenged, but still feel comfortable with that. And with this definition, we can say that success is when you leave this comfort zone, but not going to this red zone.
Tomasz was talking about VUCA world, MUCA agile world. So actually about this uncertainty that our reality has always had, also pre-pandemic, but then kind of, well, COVID hit, and even and brought more uncertainty, magnified the VUCA world. So even the things that were in our comfort zones, that were like almost routine and something we felt very comfortable about, well, some of these things we just needed to relearn, right? Start doing them in a different way, challenge the way we acted. Just take, well, making presentations or facilitating meetings or workshops. Possibly many of us on the call used to do it, and then kind of when we all went virtual, there was a need to start doing that in a totally different way. So that definitely needed, tested what the comfort zone was and what kind of activities were in our comfort zone. What was extremely important over these last 15 years was getting, finding the comfort zone through the network we have, through the support groups, through the safety in our families and the safety in our teams, because the comfort zone, the green zone, Tomasz was showing, I think part of it is what you do, but part of it is also the environment you're doing it with, right? Or where you're acting. So today I want to focus on the environment we create in our teams and the impact psychological safety in the teams can have on us learning, on us trying new things, and basically, well, acting within our comfort zone, even when we are trying things, to do things differently. Right, so let's have a look at psychological safety in the teams, how the teams that create the psychological safety are different from the teams that don't. So the first difference I want to kind of focus you on is just about speaking up and sharing ideas. This is what teams that have that safety would do, whereas the teams that do not create psychological safety would just be driven by consensus. They would just be looking to agree. They would just be looking to avoid arguments, right? The second thing would be attitude. The second difference would be the attitudes to mistakes. So teams that create the psychological safety, they actually learn and thrive on mistakes, on errors people make, and kind of just learning from them. And the teams that are psychologically unsafe would at any cost avoid mistakes, avoid taking risks. Yeah, psychologically safe teams are brave. They experiment. They try out new things. And if you don't have that safety in your team, that would just motivate you and all the team members to playing safe, going the well-tested way, just sticking with the routine. Well, another difference would really be on trying the new methods, trying new approaches, well, this experimentation that is so needed for creative solutions. Creativity is only possible when you have that psychological safety. Well, if this is missing, then people would avoid failure at any cost. They don't want to risk, they don't want to take the risk. Another difference would be on the attitude to differences, to diversity, and how inclusive the team is. And of course, psychological safety comes from this inclusivity and embracing diversity. So teams that are psychologically safe would welcome different opinions, would welcome people with different backgrounds, whereas the teams that are not psychologically safe would be very selective about who they let in or what kind of ideas they're going to be accepting, what kind of approaches they will explore. It's also about emotional connectedness, of course. It's like, I mean, psychological safety is also created by being personal with the team members, knowing each other, just really being connected. You will recognize teams that are missing this psychological safety because people in the team members would be, well, just very professionally detached from each other. They wouldn't have that personal connection. They possibly wouldn't know much about each other. They wouldn't share anything outside of their work life. Luckily, I mean, the pandemic, working from home and so on kind of made it just easier for most of us to actually get connected. I mean, we started sharing our lives, our homes, I mean, our families got on the screen and so on. So that made a difference, hopefully, to many teams. Of course, that creates trust. I mean, you will recognize that trusting teams that have trust, that where team members trust each other, this is the basis for the psychological safety. And the teams where team members are suspicious of each other's motives, they just don't quite understand why people are doing that, and they would just be kind of looking for the meaning behind the words and so on. That would probably be the sign that the team is not that safe. Another difference would be being honest and candid. This is what psychologically safe teams do. They share honest feedback. They are really candid in how they express their opinions. Also thinking of how the other people will respond, but still this honesty is really appreciated. When the safety is missing, then people just try to be nice all the time. They just, it's part of that playing it safe, right? Let's just not touch any sensitive topics, and let's not take risks there. So just on one screen, the differences between the two types of teams. I mean, clearly, when you look at this list, I mean, having a psychological safe team is just such an advantage, and this is the environment where you can thrive, where you can grow, when you can develop your skills, try new things, and so on. So this is definitely something that it's worth looking for and worth developing in the teams. So let's take it one step further. When we were analyzing how to increase the psychological safety in the team, we started kind of comparing, and I mean, researchers also started comparing how, what do the teams do differently? What kind of practices actually encourage psychological safety? So I listed a couple of practices that were spotted to increase psychological safety, and how do the team differ. So the first difference would be about talking about failures, sharing about the things that you do not work, and celebrating the fact that you're able to learn and progress from the mistakes that happened. So that would be one of the practices. Another one, extremely important, is making sure that everyone in the team has a voice. There are many teams that would have, some active members and would let the quiet team members, some of the quieter team members, just never share their opinion, never speak up. So teams that really care about psychological safety would ensure that also these quieter team members have an opportunity to share their input. They would offer alternative ways to share the ideas. Maybe not everyone wants to speak in front of the whole team, and so on. So that would be different ways depending who you have in the team and how the team operates. Another one would be just recognition, really. And one simple thing you can do is making sure that you start team meetings with something positive, like recognition based on the values that the team shares, that can largely improve the feeling of safety in the teams. Well, of course, acknowledging the contribution people make. I mean, different people bring different values to the teams. They are different ideas. So just making sure that you acknowledge that even if some of the ideas do not go forward, right? It's just so important to appreciate the input people are bringing, the contribution they are making, so that people realize it's worthwhile speaking up. Another one would be about, fostering, role modeling, possibly the culture of debate, of curiosity, by simply asking a lot of questions and challenging the team to think from different perspectives, maybe playing the role of the devil's advocate, and just looking for these different points of view. And the last one, last but not least, it's about being brave to show that you're vulnerable, and just sharing, when things are not going great for you. And actually, I mean, by doing that, you actually normalize that and create this psychological safety for other people in the team, hopefully as well. And that's the last of the ideas I wanted to share. And kind of just to wrap up, kind of why to do that. Obviously, this will, I mean, your team, the team members, people in your team will thrive. I mean, the team can be more successful, the company can be more successful. But I came across recently this not new quote from Patrick Lencioni, who was thinking about organizational health. But he was talking about like how huge impact that has, not just on our company, not just on this particular part of the business you're working for, but it actually goes far beyond, right? It has impact on the customers, vendors of the company. It has impact on the lives of our team members, on the lives of their families, because it changes the energy they are coming out from work with, and it changes their engagement for the work, their sense of accomplishment, and so on. So I found that really inspiring.
Yeah, this is very inspiring. And on the last slide, we have also inspiration from Simon Sinek, who says that working hard for something we don't care about is called stress, and working hard for something that we love is called passion. And I think what Daria was talking about is trigger the passion